Okay, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about mental illness. It's actually Mental Health Awareness Month, the month of May. So it's a great time to bring awareness about mental illness. So who in here has experienced mental illness personally or knows of somebody that has experienced mental illness? So 5 out of 5 of us, actually 6 out of 6. So we can see that mental illness is really prevalent in our society. I provided a slideshow printout for you guys to follow along with my presentation. 1 in every 5 adults in America experience a mental illness. Nearly 1 in 25, or 13.6 million Americans, live with a serious mental illness. 1/2 of all chronic mental illness begins by the age of 14 and 3/4 by the age of 24. 1.1% of Americans live with schizophrenia. 2.6% of Americans live with bipolar disorder. 6.9% of Americans live with major depressive disorder, and 18.1% of Americans live with anxiety disorders. So what is a mental illness? A mental illness is a condition that can affect a person's thinking, feeling, or mood. It can affect someone's ability to relate to others and function each and every day. It affects different people differently. So if you have 2 people who have bipolar disorder, it can affect this person differently than it can affect this person. A mental health condition isn't the result of one identifying event. Many factors can contribute to mental health issues or problems. A lot of those include biological factors such as genes or brain chemistry, life experiences such as trauma or abuse, and family history or mental health problems. Research suggests that there's multiple causes that link together to cause mental health problems. Some examples of mental health conditions are ADHD and ADD, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, and depression, and those are your 4 main that are diagnosed in the United States. Some more examples are bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, dissociative disorders, psychosis, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, schizoaffective disorder, and schizophrenia. So what are the early warning signs of having a mental illness? If you are noticing yourself or somebody close to you eating or sleeping too much or too little, pulling away from people in their usual activities, having low or no energy, feeling numb or like nothing matters, having unexplained aches and pains, feeling helpless or hopeless, if they are smoking, drinking, or using drugs more than usual, they're feeling unusually confused, forgetful, on edge, angry, upset, worried, or scared, yelling or fighting with family and friends, experiencing severe mood swings that cause problems in relationships, having persistent thoughts and memories that you can't get out of your head, hearing voices or believing things that aren't true, thinking of harming yourself or others, and the inability to perform daily tasks like taking care of your kids or getting yourself to work or school. So what are the treatment options when it comes to mental health disorders? Recovery, including meaningful roles in social life, school, and work, is possible, especially when you start treatment early and play a strong role in your recovery process. So some different treatment options are psychiatry or med management. That helps get the biological processes back on track with some of the chemicals in your brain. Outpatient therapy or counseling. We'll cover some more of what types of outpatient therapy there are later on in this presentation. Support groups and education groups, so having people who are close to you that can support you, and just knowing the stigma of mental health and being educated on what mental health is, how you can treat it, how to recognize it in others and yourself, and just taking the initiative to understand what mental health is. So what are some types of mental health counseling or the type of psychotherapies that are involved in mental health counseling? There's psychoanalysis and psychodynamic therapies. There's behavior therapy, cognitive therapy, humanistic therapy, and integrative or holistic therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy has 2 main aspects. The cognitive part works to develop helpful beliefs about your life. The behavioral side helps you learn to take healthier actions. This type works well for depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. but it can also be used for a lot of various other conditions. This is usually the therapy choice for when you first start therapy. Interpersonal therapy focuses largely on improving relationships and helping a person express emotions in healthier ways. This often works well for bipolar disorder because it helps develop a daily schedule that supports recovery. Family therapy helps family members communicate, handle conflicts, and solve problems better. Forms of family therapy are often used for treating eating disorders and bipolar disorder. Psychodynamic therapy helps people develop a better understanding about their unconscious emotions and motivations that can affect your thoughts and actions. There's also things such as art therapy that includes music, dance, drawing, and other art forms to help express emotions and promote healing. Psychoeducation can help people understand mental health conditions and ways to promote recovery. So what are the benefits of seeking treatment for mental health? If you seek this type of treatment, whether it's psychiatry, learning about mental health, education programs, or participating in counseling, you can have decreased problems with daily living, increased sense of joy and contentment. It's easier to repair and enhance those relationships that you may have disseminated because of your mental illness. You can have improved functioning at work, which often leads to having that financial stability. Increased activity, which leads to reduced social isolation. Mental illness can create a lot of stress, and stress on the body, we know, can be really physically draining. And so if you seek treatment for mental health, it's likely that you'll have fewer doctor visits for physical symptoms. There will be a decreased use of mental health inpatient facilities, and all in all, there'll be an increased quality of life and overall life satisfaction. So on the flip side, what are the cons of not seeking treatment? Your mental health symptoms such as stress, fatigue, irritability, those are going to worsen. You'll have unexplained aches and pains. Like I said, mental health issues can be very draining on the body, and those can also lead to those chronic physical health problems. Not seeking treatment can lead to homelessness, job stability issues, which we know can then lead to not having an income, which can also lead back to that homelessness, incarceration, victimization, trauma, and then suicide. The last slide I provided were some crisis lines for the state of Iowa. So if you or somebody you know is needing help with their mental health or just need somebody to talk to, there is a way on Iowa Helpline. You can chat online. You can also text this number, and you can call the same number, and just if you need someone to talk to about your mental health, things that you're struggling with in your life, or appointments, or just don't really know where to start with your mental health, these are great assets to have. So yeah, that's my presentation on mental illness. Thanks for participating.